Hello everyone, this is Steven Shinder Reviews in video form, and I just came home from a double feature that I did of Transformers 1 and The Wild Robot. So, a new robot animated movie double feature. So, no spoilers. I'm just going to provide general thoughts and how good do I think these movies are. And so, here we go. So, Transformers 1, I'm not super steeped into the lore of Transformers. I've seen bits of the animated stuff here and there, and I've seen all the movies, and the live action movies often feel too clunky looking. The Transformers just look better in animation generally, and this is no exception. Everything looks so superbly animated. There's a particular ship that appears midway through that looks the textures look very fascinating. Like you could tell a lot of work went into all this, and I love how all of these robots look. Cybertron feels alive the way that it's presented, and yeah, this is an origin story for Optimus Prime and Megatron, originally known as Orion Pax and D16 when we meet them, and they are part of this like lower class, so they're at the bottom of the chain. They are miners, they work in a mine, and this film, the marketing, lots of people have been saying the marketing hasn't been doing it justice, and I agree. Of the marketing, from what I saw, showcased some of the humor, some of the humor that might come across a bit like it skews younger, and there are bits of that here and there, but not as much as one might think. There are also kind of a couple adult jokes, but it doesn't feel like the tone is all over the place like it might feel for some of those, older, sort of crude animated movies that have that type of humor. This is actually a movie that feels smarter than I was expecting. I like how it it can teach younger people to question uh the status quo, don't just do things just because you are told to do them. Question the way that the world works, question whether everything you're being told is in fact the truth. And yeah, like it just kind of, since I've been talking about Planet of the Apes so much on this channel, it reminded me of all of that. In Planet of the Apes, the apes hide, the ones who are in the know hide knowledge of the truth of how intelligent humans used to be, and how they were the ones who were dominant before the apes were, stuff like that. And here, this Transformers movie really is about discovering the truth of, what's what on Cybertron. And, again, I don't want to spoil it, but I thought this was a really fun and smart adventure. It's potentially my favorite Transformers film. And at this point, I think they should, like, why even bother continuing with the live action stuff? Like, I don't know. Like, I think this style does the world justice. From what I've seen, I saw a post that suggested that this film might be tracking to break even, perhaps. And it's unfortunate that this isn't making more money like it should, because I think this is the way to go, like aesthetically, anyway. Like, this is how Transformers movies should be. Now, granted, the film, I feel, does tell a full enough origin story. Like, I know they're maybe hoping for a trilogy, at least that's what I read somewhere. But it does feel complete enough. Like, there are things that I guess could be explored further, but I think the relationships as they are in this one film, like, it feels like it gets enough exploration. And if they did make the sequels to this, I would be interested in seeing them. But if not, this one stands on its own, and you could sort of take a step back and, sort of squint if you imagine the Transformers mythology, your general idea of what the Transformers universe, any of them are like, and you could be like, yeah, I guess something like this could fit as the origin story to this iteration or that iteration, or I don't know, maybe it'll fit better with some than with others. I really don't know all the finer details, but yeah, even if there are no sequels to this particular installment, I would still like to see this animation style for future Transformers films and projects, maybe TV shows, miniseries. So yeah, I think this is a triumph, whether it makes a lot of money or not. Just artistically, it has something to say and it says it, and um, and Bumblebee has a line that really makes me laugh at the end. He does talk a lot, but um, it's yeah, you get used to how he is, and by the end, it all feels earned. The way that some of these characters act, but it does get heavy. Like there are heavy discussions here and there, and so yeah, I thought it was a nice surprise. Went a little bit above what I was expecting. Those of you who've known me for a while might know that I have a podcast called Delayed Replay where we pretend to recap and review movies that got delayed as if they came out earlier and on time, and we make up details and stuff. And my recaps for me and my friends' recaps for this and for The Wild Robot are kind of silly in places, but um, my my real life expectations for the film though were a little bit uh, uh, maybe slightly below where it ended up being for Transformers 1. And so I think the score I would give Transformers 1 is an 8.5 out of 10. Now, The Wild Robot, the latest film from DreamWorks, this is based on a book, as some of their other projects are, and this continues. I think there have been a couple other films I've done this where it's like this animation style that kind of looks like it's painted in a way. There's a moment that switches to another animation style, so I thought it was cool. They were able to incorporate a couple different feels. But this is a film that has a lot of heart. I know some people were having some discourse online about why have voice acting at all when you could have, just no talking and maybe just subtitles. And again, I sort of played with that in my podcast Delayed Replay. But in the end, I feel like the voice acting felt justified. There were bits of dialogue that I really appreciated and really tugged at the heartstrings. There are some places that this film goes that people will probably expect because there are similar stories like this with these types of tropes that it has, but the overall presentation still makes it feel worth it. And the score I is very memorable. It helps with the emotions of the scenes, and even though the animation doesn't look all photorealistic, the snow looks like it's animated, but the sound effects, make me think of like how cold it actually is, with the changing seasons and stuff like that. The film does feel like it takes liberties here and there with the passage of time, but then again, classic animated films like The Lion King, for example, have done that sort of thing. And it's the passage of time happens the way that it fits the mood, and I think it works. This robot who has a task that she wants to accomplish. She's lost on an island, and she finds a Gosling whom she adopts, and she becomes the mother. And she also befriends a fox who, as you would expect, has a tough exterior, but there's more to him as the film goes on. And It really is a film about the sacrifices that a mother can make for the child and for friends and neighbors. And I don't know, like some of that really got to me. It just, like I said, it really feels like it's from the heart and it reaches into the heart. It's got a lot going for it, and overall, this went a little bit above my expectations as well. And I saw both of these films because I heard good things about one of them from a friend and good things about the other one from another friend. So I'm glad that I went out to see these. So for The Wild Robot, I think I, I wasn't quite expecting this, but the more I think about it, I think I'd maybe give it a 9 out of 10. It's that great, to me anyway. I was just really invested in it. There were a couple moments where I almost felt like I wanted to tear up a little. And yeah, it's probably my favorite animated film that I've seen of this year. Um, and I'm not sure if I'll see anything that'll surpass it, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Transformers 1 and The Wild Robot. I'm really glad that I went out to see them and they did not disappoint. And they're so beautifully animated films and great voice acting. So yeah, go out and see them. They're very much worth watching. So I guess that's it for me for now. So thanks for tuning in and see you all next time.